Hi, I hope you're having an amazing day wherever you're tuning in from. Let me know. Let me know what time is it and where are you in the world? And how's your day going? I would love to hear. For anybody who is new on my feed, welcome. My name is Amanda Rose. I'm the CEO and founder of the Infinite Power of You, Inc., the co-founder of the No BS Biz Co. I am a business, wealth, and mindset coach, a multi-published, multi-genre author with over 20 publications out. Motivational speaking. I've been in sales for well over a decade. I've been a full-time entrepreneur since 2013, which is also approaching the decade mark. Not till next year, but it's a coming. So that's me in a nutshell if you're new on my feed. And it's just a pleasure to meet you. I'd absolutely love to hear from you if you're new. So today we're going to talk about really the absolute truth behind the scenes of running a six-figure plus cash generating business. So first of all, you may have noticed, of course, I said cash. The reason I say that is in the online space in particular, you'll notice a lot of businesses, they won't specify. They'll be like, we're a six-figure business. A lot of times they mean sales. And sales does not mean cash in hand. And this is a really important thing for you to know as an entrepreneur, a business owner, even just to be a well-informed consumer. Because it can be very misleading. It's one of those things where somebody could absolutely have a six-figure cash or a six-figure sales year and only pocket a couple $1,000s. Happens all the time. And it's really important that you know that distinction. Just because there is so much misinformation out there, and there's a lot of number dropping to try and get you to be intrigued, to try and get you to buy things. So it's important to know that. So it's operating at the cash level where that's actually the money that the company has received. So that's something that's very important to know. So when you're operating a business at this state, People always have so many questions about, what does it mean to do this? How do you get there? What do we do? So one of the things that I really notice a lot of entrepreneurs get stuck in is the learning phase. And it's so important that we do learn, that we are constantly growing. I think it's something that we need to be committed to. I think it needs to be a lifelong commitment, that we are really working on improving who we are, because you are your business. Your business is a reflection of you. It always will be. So the more you grow as an entrepreneur, as a business owner, as a person, the better your business is going to be. So that absolutely needs to be integral. But when we're in this initial learning phase as an entrepreneur, I see a lot of people get stuck here. And I even see people kind of do the learning phase, jump in a little bit, jump back into the learning phase. And really, ideally, what I would love for entrepreneurs to know is you don't have to just be learning or doing. We need to be doing both simultaneously. And my rule of thumb is using the 80-20 rule. I use this in pretty much all areas of my life because it's very impactful. Each day you want to have 20% of your workday as learning, and you want to have 80% as applying, implementation. This is really big, even from day one. And I know that might be like, what? From day one? I don't know what I'm doing. That's okay. Part of the learning actually comes through getting hands-on and trying things. It's something that's really important. So part of your learning, of course, is book learning. It's listening to courses. It's hiring that coach. It's reading a book. It's doing those things. The other part comes from hands-on implementation. And that's where you can earn while you're learning. And that's something that's really important because it is a business. And I know that can be a really scary part of business for so many people, is getting through that money, the money work where we're like, okay, we're getting comfortable selling, we're getting comfortable talking to people, we're getting comfortable receiving money in exchange for our services or our products. These things are really crucial. So we want to make sure that we're in this state where we are putting ourselves out there and getting used to that. So what I like to do is learn something. I spend about 30 minutes each day learning, sometimes an hour, but most days it's 30 minutes. And I take that knowledge and I go, what can I apply from this today? How can I use this today in my business? What can I take from this? One little piece that I can go and implement right away, because that's how we really learn something. There's knowing of something, and there's knowing something because you live it. And there's such a big difference between the two. Book learning is only valuable if you're applying it. We have to be applying it. That's the only time where we actually reap the rewards. And it's part of the reason that so many people get stuck is they're learning. They know so much about running the business at this point. You know, they've studied sales, they've studied marketing, they've done the mindset work, like all this stuff, and they're not seeing results. And it's because they're constantly stuck in learning mode and they're not implementing it in the way that it needs to be implemented. And part of that is being comfortable failing. People who are extremely successful in any area of their life or all areas of their life, depending on who you're looking at, they are people who are willing to try something, fail, get back up and go, that didn't work. I wonder why it didn't work. Let's try something new. That's the attitude. But most of us, we hold ourselves to this impossible standard of needing to succeed on the first try, which of course it's impractical. Life doesn't work like that. Like, we're not programmed to be that way. We're programmed to try through, try, fail, try again until we figured it out. So these are the things that are really important for success, is being willing to, get your hands dirty, get out there, be the person who is like, okay, this is uncomfortable, but I'm flipping doing it anyway. And that is how you grow your business to that level. That is how you get the cash flow, the revenue, the customers. You're getting all of these amazing things happening because you're putting yourself out there. Now, all of this comes down to the foundation of your habits. I talk about habits a lot. You'll hear me say, like, if you spent the day with me, you'll be bored to tears. And it's because my day is kind of repetitive, but it's in such a powerful way, because what I do every single day, it leads into the next thing. So, guys, right now, to give you an example, I'm in the process of writing 4 books. I am building 2 new programs. I'm in the middle of a launch. We are currently looking into buying our first investment property. What else is going on? We've got so many other things going on. I'm taking a Tony Robbins training. Like, I'm going through a whole bunch of things right now. There's like 5 other things I can't even remember. Now, if you hear that big ass list, you're probably like, this bitch don't sleep. Like, I don't know how she does it, right? Like, it sounds like that. But the truth is, my work days are typically 3 hours, sometimes 4. Now, I do want to preface that to say that I have built a business with a system for passive income so it can work without me a lot of the time. That means you get paid while you sleep kind of stuff. It did take a long time to set that up. That does not happen overnight. But it is important to know that you can get a lot of things done in a short amount of time. Most of us are really good at wasting time. And we always, hear this if you're in the personal development world. If I say, hey, can you get this to me by the end of the day? And it's like the morning, you're probably going to take a good 7-8 hours to get whatever I asked you to do done. But if I say, hey, can you get this thing to me by noon? You will get it to me by noon. It's not about the task. It's about how long we feel we've got to do it. We tend to drag our heels. It's very human nature to do that. And when you become your own boss, when you're working for yourself at home, it's so important for you to recognize that you have to set your standards. You have to set yourself in a schedule. And habits are the best way to do that, because yes, it does take some effort to establish a habit. But once it's there, you're on autopilot. You just go, you get up and you do the damn thing. Like I said, my day is pretty much the same thing every day. I get up, I scoop the cat litter. It's the first thing I do every day. I know it's super exciting, guys, but I scoop the cat litter. I go and I drink a really great 20-ounce glass of water with lemon in it. I go and read for half an hour. Then I do my gratitude practice. Then I do my workout. Then I do my training while I'm checking my email. Multitasking is okay sometimes for the right things. If you're doing a mindless task and you're listening to an audio, totally good to do that. Same thing if you're driving a car, you can listen to your audio. So there's certain times you can double up, save yourself some time. Then I get into either, if it's a day where I take client calls, I get into my client calls. If it is a day where I don't have client calls, I get into starting to work on my different projects. So I'll start with the very first book that I'm working on. I'll write for half an hour, then I'll switch to the next one, then the next one, then the next one. And then I will move into building the courses, quickly pop on social media, check what I need to check, reply to people I need to reply to, build a few new relationships, put out my marketing materials. This is all in just a few hours. That's it. Few hours. Doesn't take that much, but it does take the commitment to build those habits to get it done. And this is how my business grows, and this is how it grows really quickly. This is how when I go to launch something, I have these people I've built connections with who are ready to jump in, who are excited to purchase. So these are the things that are really important to know. Marketing and sales absolutely need to be prioritized in business. And they're the number one thing that I see entrepreneurs avoid. And I get it because it's uncomfortable, right? It's putting yourself out there. It's the fear of judgment. It's the, what if I try and do this and I fail? Or even worse, what if I do and I succeed? So many people are afraid of making big sums of money because, well, I don't know how to invest, or I don't know how to manage it, or what if the government comes and takes half? What's the point? Like, we go through this internal dialogue. You have to be very aware of what's going on inside your head. Mastering your mindset is how you master your life. All areas, your business, your health, your finances, your relationships, all of it. And it all comes down to these things. So establishing those daily habits that over time create results, that's how you get a lot done. That's how, I can sit down and I can be like, okay, I'm going to write several new books and here's what I'm going to put out. And they will be done in a few months because I'm consistent, because it's every single day. These are the things that produce results. These are the things that will allow you to build to the next level. And it's through the doing. You can see I'm learning in here. I'm always learning. I'm reading and I'm taking a program and I do these things and I'm committed to them. But I don't go, okay, now I'm in student mode, so I'm not going to work on my business. I see entrepreneurs do that a lot. I've also seen entrepreneurs do interesting things with a lot of different, I'm going to call them excuses. And it's really just belief systems. Really, at the end of the day. And the big thing that I can say about belief system, BS, it is BS. It is some serious bullshit. It's what we're operating from. It's not necessarily true. It's typically all of this crap that we picked up from other people that we believe is true. It's true for us because we believe in it, but it doesn't have to be true. You can change your belief system, and that's when you can change your life. So what I'll see a lot of people do is, a big one is like, oh, it's Mercury retrograde, so I'm not going to sell right now. It's a bad time to sell or sign a contract or do all these things. And the truth is, first of all, guys, I'm like 100% into astrology, so I get it. But the thing is, during a Mercury retrograde, it is a time for introspection. It's a great time for creativity in your business, but Walmart's still selling during retrograde. Amazon's still selling during retrograde. Your local coffee shop is still open. You can still go buy your coffee during retrograde. You have to keep running your business as a business if you want it to be a business instead of a hobby. These things are really crucial, but you just become aware of the fact that, okay, it's retrograde. I'll slow down. I will triple read my email before I hit the send button. These are the things you do. You adapt, but you don't just go, well, I'm going to walk away for a month. Your business cannot sustain that. It can't. It really can't. Now, you will get it to a point in your business where you can outsource things. And of course, you can walk away for a month, but you need things in place where it can operate without you, where it can function without you. So these are things that are really important to know. Where are you stopping yourself? Where are you creating barriers for yourself in your business that don't really need to be there? And this is all through our thought processes. Like you might go, oh, I don't want to go live because I don't have good hair, or people are going to make fun of me, or I don't have time to put on makeup every day. These are things that, again, are in your way. What happens if somebody makes fun of you? Well, it's the internet. Somebody's going to do it at some point to somebody. So, we have to get used to it. If you think about your favorite celebrity, for example, somebody who you just love, who lights up your heart, whether it's their music or, they have amazing movies or whatever it is. And you're just like, I love them. Like my life is so much more full because they do what they do. They have haters. Somebody out there hates that person that you love. It's inconceivable to you, but it happens. And this is what happens when we grow, when we're expansive, when we're sharing our magic with everybody. You're going to have so many people who are drawn to you, who are like, oh my God, you're so flippin' cool. And you're going to have people who are like, who the fuck does this person think they are? You're going to have everything in between. And that's okay. It means that you're getting out there, you're getting visibility. It's the same thing with all of the big brands, right? Like, we tend to associate with brands. Think about the Pepsi and Coca-Cola challenge. Like you guys all remember that, where it's like, are you Pepsi or Coke? And we identify with a brand. It's not that it's our flippin' company, but we identify with it. We identify with the brand values and all of these things, and we get really drawn into them. And this is part of building your business. You are building a brand. Even if you are the face of your business, if you're in the service-based industry, you're attracting people to you. You are a representative of your brand. So yes, it does mean being vulnerable and authentic. It does mean that, yeah, it might be a little painful if somebody's being a bit of a jerk. But this is why they developed the block button. It is a lifesaver. Hit that sucker as much as you need it. Get yourself a long ass block list. Join the club because there's people out there who suck, but there's so many more people out there who are going to love what you have to offer. And the only way that they can find you is if you push through the fear. If you push through and you go, I'm going to do this because it is irresponsible of me to keep my magic to myself. To live a life that is less than because I'm scared of what somebody might say or somebody might do or how they might criticize or judge. No, we don't let that stop us. Instead, we show up and we share it. And that's when we get all of these people who are like, oh my God, I felt so alone. But then you showed up and you spoke my truth because we share that truth and I don't feel alone anymore. Like that's a gift you get to give somebody. The really cool thing about growing your business to big heights, to getting big exposure and visibility, the really cool thing is, not everybody's going to buy from you, but for like every one person who buys from you, you are positively impacting hundreds of more people just from your presence, from sharing who you are, from getting your message out there, for being present. You're helping people to grow. That is amazing. That is a gift that you get to give. We get to be of service to other people. This is a really amazing thing about being a human being. When we're present, when we're here, when we acknowledge what we're great at, when we acknowledge our purpose and our passion, and we say, no matter how scared I am, no matter how uncomfortable this is, no matter how time consuming or how much learning I have to do or how much falling on my face I have to do, I'm going to show up and do it. And you follow through with it. You get to give that gift to the world. And it is absolutely incredible because not only are you sharing that and you're helping other people out, you're also empowering other people to say, I'm going to live by my truth. You are naturally a leader when you step into your own power. You don't have to do leadership. You don't have to do anything related to it. Just by being you, by living in your purpose and your passion, you let other people know that they can do it too. It's a permission slip. It is a beautiful thing to give to other people. It's a wonderful thing. So there's so much encompassed in you living at your fullest state to be able to, get to that 6-figure cash business, 7-figure cash business, to, go to any height that you want, to be able to create that impact and that power. Something that's really important. The other thing that I want to bring up, because I know this is something that can be challenging, and I know for me it was really difficult. The first good 5 years of my business were a real struggle. I was very dedicated to learning strategy, but I didn't give a shit about mindset. I was like, yeah, I'm good. I know that stuff. Ego, I know. But anyway, that was how I was in my business for about the first 5 years. And it was like tooth and nail fighting for everything. I mean, guys, my first month as an entrepreneur, I made $60. And don't get me wrong, I was celebrating my ass off because I was like, oh my God, you can really make money online. This is real. Like it was quite a moment. But like the whole first year, I made $600. The next year I made like 2,000. Like it was a struggle. It was not quick. I didn't have this overnight success story. And I know you guys see this day in, day out. You see it online all the time. People are like, oh, I woke up as a millionaire this morning. I started my business yesterday. And you're like, how? What the fuck? Because it's unrealistic. And if anything seems too good to be real, it usually is, right? So we have to remember that these online personas that we get inundated with, that we're constantly bombarded with on our feeds, they're a lot of smoke and mirrors. The other thing that is really important for you to know, as an entrepreneur coming in the online space, and just social media in general, everybody is showing the best parts to you, the best bits, right? They are picking and choosing what you see. So you're not seeing the whole picture. You aren't getting to see all of the behind the scenes stuff. You aren't getting to see the fight they had with their VA or the client who asked for this massive refund or the lawsuit that they had to go through or the breakup they had with their spouse or, all this other shit that's going on or the fact that they've actually, maybe they did have a 6-figure business in a year, but it's like their 8th business. They don't necessarily open up about these things. I'm not saying that everybody's like, lying to you. This isn't true, but you're only seeing fragments of somebody's story. So it's really important that you approach it with discernment. The other thing is everybody and their monkey's uncle looks like they're super successful. Like, don't you sometimes come on and be honest with me? Don't you sometimes come onto your news feed if you've got a lot of entrepreneurs on there and you kind of just assume all of them are crushing it? Like they're all making like 5, 10, 15K months plus, and like you're the one flipping failure. I mean, hands up, I'd be honest about this. I know for me, for a long time, I felt that way. And I felt really like I was always behind, everybody's ahead of me, and why couldn't I figure it out? And I felt really stuck and really, jealous, to be honest. I was really jealous a lot of the time. And the truth is, it's all a bunch of bullshit. It's all a bunch of bullshit. I finally got a hold of statistics. And I was like, holy flipping crap. Oh my God, most people are actually struggling. So the interesting thing is that most businesses, 60% of all businesses will never surpass $25,000 a year cash revenue. Now, of that 60%, it's like 10% that even get that close, and like most of them aren't even making a few $1,000s a year. It's like, it's kind of crazy when you look at the statistics. Now, I do hope that changes. But currently that's where it's at. And for 6-figure and plus businesses, it's less than 10% of all businesses. On top of that, of all the businesses that begin, after 10 years, only 30% of the businesses that founded themselves are still around. So these are things that I don't say to scare you and make you go, holy shit, that sounds like awful. Now nobody can make it. I say it because we typically are comparing ourselves to our peers and going, why is everybody doing so much better than me? Why am I so bad at this? Why can't I figure this out? Everybody else has figured it out. Why am I this loser? Like, we tend to ask these really disempowering questions because we have this false perception of reality. And the truth is, most of these people who you think look like they're killing it, like maybe they got the nice glamour shots, maybe they look like they've got a great life, maybe their business is making nothing and you don't know it. One of the things I challenged myself to do years ago was to start to reach out to people who I thought were doing better than me to build relationships. And the interesting thing that happened when I did that was that like 98% of them weren't even close to doing how well I was doing in my business. And only a couple of them were actually like doing as well as I was or ahead. And I was like, what the fuck? Like, it really blew my mind that these people who I presumed were doing significantly better than me based on what I was seeing on their social media were actually struggling. We're barely making any sales or making no sales at all. And I was like, what the heck? So it completely blew my perception out of the water. So these are things that are really good to know so that we get out of this comparison mode of thinking that we're always the one that's behind. Your mindset, your perception, you're knowing that you're doing way better than you think you are. You really are. By showing up, by being consistent, by doing these things, this is how we move ahead. So these are things that are really crucial for you to know in building your business to that next level. You've got to get into action. You have to establish those habits. And you need to empower yourself to know that, you're not this one broken person. No, you are powerful. You are the creator of your reality. And regardless of what anybody else is doing, you're here running your own race. That's something I had to learn. I grew up being quite competitive. Our school system really teaches us to be this way. I don't know if they're still doing it. Kind of hope they're not, where they kind of have like, the ahead kids or the behind kids, they kind of separate you and they start to make you feel like you're good or less than or all these things. And it sets us up for this whole lifetime of competition. And we're never really happy because it's almost like this weird thing of either keeping up with the Joneses or all this other stuff that we're trying to do that's not helping us in any way. It's not fulfilling in any way. As soon as you make an achievement, you're like, yeah, beat you almost. And it's in your own head. It's like this complete game that we play. But ultimately, this is just your life. What makes you happy? How do you want to show up? What's going to empower you? What's going to make you feel good? And who cares what anybody else is doing? These are the things that are really important for us to know, to be able to free ourselves to move forward without all of the extra stuff in the way. So we tend to get these things going on. So I'm just going to scroll through. I see we've got some comments here. I hope you guys are all doing amazing today. Lovely, lovely people. Woo. Hi, Tasha. Oh my goodness. Thank you all for hopping on today. You're amazing. Yes, implementation is such an important thing. Okay, I don't know why, guys. I'm like, see, this is the other thing. You don't have to be good at tech. I'm clearly not that great at tech right now because my screen keeps jumping around. Like, you'd swear I was an 80-year-old woman trying to touch this phone. But I can run a business successfully. So there you go. So Tasha says, I have failed and now trying something new and aligned. I love that. And I think that's so important. I think that's something that's really key. And I think we're scared of failing. But the truth is, and I know I probably even said this yesterday, you guys, I say this all the time, but if we think about learning the way that we did when we were kids, right? Like, you ever see a kid, I'm going to use a different analogy because I always use the walking one. So if you ever seen a kid with one of those block things where it's like you fit the heart into the heart and the circle into the circle and square into the square, like that type of thing, spatial awareness, well, usually they don't just automatically pick up like the circle and put it in the circle. Like they try and shove it into some of the other holes. And we would never look at a child who's trying to figure out what hole it fits in and be like, oh, he tried to put the circle in the star. I guess he's just never going to get objects. I mean, that's ridiculous. It's through the trying that we start to associate and learn and do these things. Your brain is such an incredible tool. I highly recommend learning more about how to utilize your mind in different ways, both in terms of actual mindset and how things work, but also in terms of how does this incredible like supercomputer between your ears work so that you can hijack it to work for you. One of the things I always talk about is getting your neural programming in there so that you have automatic habits in place. These things are absolutely crucial. Like if you can set yourself up to build a habit so that it's automatic, just as easy as brushing your teeth or brushing your hair or making coffee in the morning, like it's so automatic and it's good for you. It's moving you in the right direction, moving your business in the right direction. So you just do the damn thing and it's no longer uncomfortable. You will see marked progress. These things are huge. One of the things I always teach my clients, and I see some of them are watching right now, I always say, talk to 5 new people every single day. If you talk to 5 new people every single day, and let's say you just do it Monday to Friday, but you do that every week, well, you're talking 25 new people a week. You are talking to 100 new people a month. You're talking to 1,200 new people a year. Is that going to help your business? Hell yes, it is. Certainly not all of them are going to buy from you, but when you build genuine connections with that many people, you will get customers. You will have people who invite you to collaborate. You will end up having people who refer other people to you just because they like your vibration. So these things happen naturally when we get out of our own way and do these little things. And guess how much time it takes to build 5 new connections a day if you're, just messaging on Facebook? Not long, like 10 minutes. Right? Because you're going to have multiple conversations at the same time. So these things are easy. They really are easy to do. The thing that's hard is here when we start judging ourselves. Oh, what if somebody thinks I'm a jerk for reaching out or like all these things we get in our own way. So we have to get through our own bullshit and move forward with it. So these things are absolutely crucial. I'm going to see if I can use my scrolling skills again, but I don't know if it's going to work. Hi, Leah. Elizabeth. Oh, my goodness. So Elizabeth says, I just let them message me. That is, I'm certainly always open to different ways of doing things. I'm really a big proponent of being proactive. And when I say messaging people, please know that I do not mean cold pitching. That is a whole other world. And that still isn't necessarily wrong. It does work in certain industries if it's done correctly. But the reason that I'm really big on proactive reach out is because there's people out there who watch you who are intimidated by you. They're like, oh my God, this person, like, they're amazing. And I could never talk to them. Like, they can put you on a pedestal. I've had this happen before, and I hope that people stop doing that, really, but it's a very natural human nature thing to do. Like, sometimes I'll reach out to somebody and they'll be like, oh my God, I've been following you forever and I've never had the courage to reach out. Like, I can't tell you how many times I've had somebody say that. So the only way that conversation started is because I took the time to reach out. So, absolutely. It's really great to focus on having excellent content and having it attract people to reach out to you. And I'm not saying you have to do reach out, but it is a wonderful thing to get in the habit of what's in your control. Like, I can't control how many people reach out to me, but I can control how many people I reach out to. That's something where I always think it's really important to see where are your metrics in your business and what's within your control and what's without. Because that's where you can really start to leverage it. And that's where you can grow purposefully instead of I don't necessarily want to say accidentally, but at the same time, it's not necessarily a proven science when we can't monitor the numbers. So we want to make sure that it's within our control, that there's always something we can do. Because even like, let's say an algorithm change happens. Let's say you're somebody who does like really rely on people reaching out to you, and all of a sudden Facebook like update, which they like to do every 2 weeks. And all of a sudden post engagement goes like to nothing. Then we're in trouble because nobody's seeing your post. So if they're not seeing your post, they're not reaching out, and then we're in trouble. So I always like to do things that what's within my control that I can commit to daily. Anything else is great. People reach out to me, fucking fantastic, but I don't have to rely on that. So anyway, sorry, I went off on a tangent there, but these are things which I really had to learn over time, and it's a lot of pushing outside of our comfort zone. And when we are reaching out to people, it's not to sell. There's no intention of that. The intention is, I would like to get to know this human being. That's it. How can I get to know this human being? And that's it. Because when we build genuine connections with people, what happens is, like, if I reach out to somebody, I'm like, hey, you're on my Facebook list. We've never chatted before. I'd love to get to know you. And they tell me about them, and I reciprocate, and we just have a nice conversation. The algorithm will then work in our favor to show each other's posts, right? Because the Facebook's like, hey, they're chatting in Messenger. They must know each other or like each other. So they start to show you in the news feeds. This helps them then see your post. And then if you have a promotional post and they like you, guess who's more likely to buy it? The person who you've had a conversation with. So there's a lot of intertwining going on here. Not to get super complicated, but these are the things that are really important to know, is these little foundational habits. It's not about, going and doing anything, gross or like ultra sleazy. Like, I don't think that's a good way to build a business. I think it's important to be extremely genuine and down to earth and connect with people and just see how we can be there and be of service without necessarily selling. I absolutely am 100% like serving as selling. Like, guys, I have a sales background. I love sales. Selling is probably my favorite part of my business, but it's important that we know that it's not about having to go proactively pitch at people. It's about proactively connecting with people in some way, shape, or form. And there's different ways to do that. And of course, I always recommend build yourself your email list. Like, if Facebook disappeared tomorrow, you'd want to be able to contact the people who you're really close with. And the other thing is, you can do things which have passive marketing ability, which is really, really crucial. Like, you could have a blog or a podcast. You could get out there, in different ways, YouTube, different things where things kind of live forever. And it's not like on Facebook, obviously, if you post something, it's only really relevant for that day, maybe that week, if it's getting a lot of bumps up because it's getting a lot of engagement, but it's kind of gone into oblivion, right? Like, it doesn't have long lasting capabilities. And there are other platforms which have a different format. Like, again, YouTube, for example, is a great one because you have your channel, the videos, you can put them into sections. If people just search the right thing, it brings it up. Instagram can be a little bit the same because they use the algorithms with the hashtags. But there's just different things that we can do which have a little bit more permanence, so that you have active marketing, which can be done on platforms such as Facebook, but you also have passive marketing where it's using SEO, it's showing up on Google searches, things like that. Like, these things are important. So you're kind of balancing your business. So we're getting into a lot of different aspects of this today, but the biggest thing I can tell you to take away from this video is it all really boils down to your daily habits. What are you doing day in and day out? How are you showing up? What are the things that you do with consistency that if you were to map it out, that you could go like, this is the result I'm going to get at roughly this point in time because I'm doing this today. That's really important. For example, if I'm writing for 30 minutes a day towards my book, I can map out that, hey, in about 3 months, I'm going to have my rough draft done. And then, you can keep going from there. So you kind of see your trajectory. These things are important. I see a lot of people, and I used to do this because I didn't know any better. I'd show up and I'd just kind of kind of hang around on Facebook and maybe post something and maybe reach out to somebody and maybe engage on, all of these, I'll see how I'm feeling today type of stuff. And it's not to say that I didn't get sales, but they were really erratic. It was not anything with consistency. So it wasn't until I really took control of that. I know I'm showing up in this way. This is the stuff I'm committing to do every single day. And then, of course, you have things where you do it when you feel like it. There's stuff that you don't do every day, and there's stuff that's more of a weekly or monthly thing that needs to be done. But you kind of just approach it in that way and go, what are the absolute have-tos? What are things that I need to do every single day that are absolutely crucial to the most important aspects of my business, that set my soul on fire, that will lead me to my ultimate goals? These are the things that we need to be really clear about and set in place. So walk away from today. I would love for you to, take a little bit of time to go, okay, this is my goal. This is what I want to achieve. What do I need to do each day within roughly a 30-minute window? What do I need to do each day in 30 minutes that's going to get me to that goal? And then you'll see a trajectory to roughly know, okay, if I do this every single day, I'm going to hit that goal in 3 months, 4 months, 5 months, a year, like whatever that is. If you look at it, it's the same thing no matter what your goals are. Like, it's not even business stuff. If you want to, for example, like get in better shape, if you want to lose 20 pounds, like you can map that out. Like, hey, okay, well, if I have a deficit of this and I'm working out like this and I'm nourishing myself like this, then, and I do that over this much time, I should see X result, or at least be pretty close to it. So these are the things that really ultimately lead us to success in life in all areas, is having that consistency day in and day out. So map that stuff out, commit to it. The biggest thing in establishing a habit is remembering that it will take you about 21 to 28 days for it to become automatic. So we do need to push through that threshold where we kind of like want to quit or have a day off. Don't do it. Don't fall for it. You need to stick to it every single day for at least 21 to 28 days for it to become an automatic habit where you don't think about it, you just show up and do it, because you are literally changing the landscape of your brain to work for you. It's incredible when we do that. So these are the things that make you successful. These are the things that are going to get you that money in your business. They're going to make you feel like $1 million because you will have that commitment, that drive. You will see the impact you're having. That's when you do start to see people pop into your inbox, because when you show up consistently, you're one of those faces we remember. I mean, one of the things that I remember, I was on 3 back-to-back like podcast interviews, and each one of the hosts was like, if you're on Facebook, you know Amanda, and if you don't know Amanda, you're not on Facebook. It's because I'm consistent. It's because I show up every day. It's because I post in very specific places every single day where I know my niche is hanging out. So these are the things that I do that are breeding success in my business, and that I know will help you in your business as well, to take it to the next level, to get those customers, to have the joy in your work as well. So I hope that you walk away from this with I'm excited to get these habits in place. I'm excited to get a routine in place that will bring success into my business. And if you're somebody who's like, I would love to have support and accountability for this, somebody to like kind of kick my ass, make sure I stick to it, make sure I keep in line with my goals, I highly recommend you jump into the Success Habit Incubator. It is starting next Monday, and it is a 12-month container. And we're going to be having the most incredible time together, founding habits, setting goals, making sure that we're achieving them. We're going to have some pretty kick-ass prizes for those of you who are hitting those goals through establishing the habits. This is what it's all about. So I'm very excited to jump into that. I'm running that with my business partner, Tony Babcock. It is going to be an incredible program. And even though we originally discussed having it $1,000 a month because it is going to be pretty intensive, it is only $100 a month for the 12 months to be in this. We really wanted it to be accessible. We wanted it to be something where everybody who wanted to jump in was able to jump in. So if that's you, absolutely reach out. Let me know. I'll be posting the link below. Again, we're starting on Monday, and this is, if you're committed to making this the year that you hit those goals, get your ass in there. It's going to be incredible. All right. Well, I love you guys. Have an amazing day. And if you have any questions about this stuff, or if you just need to talk something out, please, my inbox is always open. You're never alone. I know entrepreneurship can feel very isolating, but you're not alone. I'm always here for you. If you've got a question, you need some support, absolutely reach out. Have an amazing day. We'll talk again soon. Bye.